Did you know that losing just a small amount of weight, like 5 to 10%, can actually really boost your chances of getting pregnant if you're struggling to conceive?
Yeah, it's a pretty amazing connection. And we're going to dive deep into the science behind obesity and fertility today, and hopefully uncover some pretty surprising things.
It's a topic a lot of people are curious about, so let's get right to it.
Sounds good.
When we talk about obesity affecting fertility, what's really going on in the body?
Well, one of the main ways that obesity impacts fertility is through hormonal imbalances.
Okay.
Our endocrine system is super intricate. And those fat cells, they actually produce hormones that can disrupt that delicate balance that's needed for reproduction.
So it's not just about the weight itself, it's about the hormones that kind of go haywire.
Exactly.
Okay.
And, for women, this can manifest as like irregular periods, difficulty with ovulation, or even PCOS.
Yeah.
And there was a study published in the Endocrine Society's Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism. And they actually found that women with PCOS who lost just 5% of their body weight saw improvements in insulin sensitivity and hormone levels,
That's great.
which led to more regular cycles.
Wow. So even a little bit of weight loss can make a big difference in regulating those hormones.
For sure.
What about men? How does obesity affect their fertility?
So in men, we often see a decrease in both sperm count and quality.
Mm.
Excess body fat can actually disrupt the production of testosterone, which, as we know, is super important for sperm development.
Okay.
Additionally, there's a link between obesity and increased estrogen levels in men, which further hinders sperm production.
Got it. So we're talking about hormonal imbalances being a major factor here. What else is going on that could be contributing to these fertility issues?
Inflammation.
Okay.
Obesity leads to chronic low-grade inflammation throughout the body. This basically means that the immune system is constantly on alert, releasing these inflammatory chemicals that can damage cells, and that includes the cells involved in reproduction.
Hold on. I need a little clarification here.
Sure.
What does chronic low-grade inflammation actually mean? And how does it affect those delicate eggs and sperm?
So it's kind of like having a constant simmering fire within your body.
Okay.
This ongoing inflammation, it can actually harm the quality of both the eggs and the sperm,
Wow.
making it harder for them to fertilize.
So we got these two big players, hormonal imbalances and chronic inflammation,
Right.
both linked to obesity and both potentially causing problems with fertility. It's really starting to paint a clear picture of why weight management is so important for those who are trying to conceive.
Absolutely.
It sounds kind of daunting, but is there good news here?
There is some good news.
Okay.
Research shows that even a modest amount of weight loss, like that 5 to 10% we talked about, can actually have a really remarkable impact on reversing these negative effects.
That's encouraging.
Yeah.
So for someone who's maybe 20 or 30 pounds overweight, losing just a small portion of that could actually make a difference.
Absolutely. A study published in the journal Human Reproduction found that women who lost 5 to 10% of their body weight were significantly more likely to ovulate regularly and conceive, both naturally and through assisted reproductive technologies like IVF.
That's amazing. So it's not necessarily about reaching some ideal weight. It's about making these smaller changes that can have a real impact.
For sure.
That's great. There's hope there. But where do people start? What are some practical things that people can do to achieve this weight loss and have a better chance of conceiving?
Well, one of the most effective and honestly enjoyable ways is through dietary changes.
Okay.
And a great place to start is with the Mediterranean diet.
I've heard good thing.
This way of eating emphasizes whole, unprocessed foods like fruits and vegetables, whole grains, legumes, fish, and healthy fats like olive oil.
That's delicious.
It's delicious, and it's been shown to actually improve fertility outcomes.
Okay, so delicious and fertility boosting. I
Yeah.
like the sound of that. What makes this diet so effective?
Well, it kind of works on a couple of levels. First, the abundance of antioxidants in those fruits and vegetables and legumes. It helps combat that chronic inflammation that we were talking about,
Oh, okay.
protecting both egg and sperm health.
So those antioxidants are like little warriors fighting off the fire.
Exactly. And secondly, the Mediterranean diet is naturally lower in processed foods and refined sugars, which can help with weight management.
Got it.
And this, in turn, can help rebalance those hormones we discussed earlier.
It's like a win-win situation.
Yeah.
You get to enjoy delicious food, and you're also supporting your fertility. But can we get a little more specific? Are there any key dietary recommendations for those trying to conceive?
Yeah, there are. When it comes to those macronutrients, a study published in Obstetrics and Gynecology found that women who consumed around 40% of their daily calories from carbohydrates had higher pregnancy rates compared to those with higher carb intakes. Additionally, protein is super important for embryo development. So aim for about 25% of your daily calories from protein, focusing on those lean sources like fish, poultry, beans, and lentils.
Okay, so moderate carbs and plenty of lean protein. What about dairy?
Interestingly enough, full-fat dairy products, particularly yogurt, have been linked to improved ovulation.
Hmm?
Researchers think that this might be because of the balance of hormones and nutrients found in full-fat dairy as opposed to the fat-free varieties.
Okay, so full-fat yogurt gets the green light. What about healthy fats, those avocados and nuts that you mentioned earlier?
Those are essential too.
Okay.
Monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats from sources like avocados, nuts, seeds, and olive oil are not only good for overall health,
Right.
but also play a role in hormone production and reducing that inflammation.
Got it. Load up on the good fats. Anything else we should be prioritizing?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Make sure you're getting plenty of those antioxidants we discussed earlier.
Okay.
Those colorful fruits, veggies, and legumes are your best friend when it comes to fertility.
So this isn't about deprivation, it's about making smart choices and enjoying delicious food that also happens to be good for you.
Exactly.
Awesome. Speaking of nourishing the body, what about omega-3 fatty acids?
Yeah.
I know those are good for brain health. Are they also important for fertility?
They are. They're like those antioxidants, potent anti-inflammatory agents.
Okay.
They work to reduce that chronic inflammation we've been talking about, and they've also been shown to improve both egg and sperm health.
So is it more than just taking a fish oil pill every day?
But
What are some good ways to get more omega-3s in our diet?
definitely think beyond the supplement.
Okay.
Fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel are excellent sources.
Got it.
You could also find them in plant-based options like flax seeds, chia seeds, and walnuts.
Those are all pretty easy to add to meals. What other nutrients are essential when we're talking about fertility?
Iron and folate are two big ones.
Okay.
Iron is really important for healthy ovulation and egg development,
Mm.
while folate plays a crucial role in preventing neural tube defects in early pregnancy.
That's so important. How can we make sure we're getting enough of these nutrients?
So leafy greens, lentils, beans, and fortified cereals are all great sources of iron.
Oh, okay.
And for folate, you can look to dark leafy greens, citrus fruits, lentils, nuts, seeds, and avocados.
So a nice, colorful diet packed with those essential nutrients is key.
Yeah.
What about exercise? How does that fit into the picture?
Exercise is absolutely crucial. Regular moderate exercise not only helps with weight loss, but it can also improve fertility in both men and women.
So we're not talking about training for a marathon here. What kind of exercise is best?
Exactly. It's about finding activities you enjoy and can stick with. Walking, swimming, dancing, yoga. It doesn't have to be intense to be effective.
So find something you love and get moving. But I've heard that too much exercise can actually be harmful to fertility, especially for women. Is that true?
There's some truth to that. Excessive exercise, particularly high-intensity training, can actually disrupt hormone balance and negatively impact ovulation. It's all about finding that sweet spot. Moderate, consistent movement that supports your overall health without putting too much stress on your body.
So moderation is key when it comes to exercise, just like with everything else. It seems like building these healthy, sustainable habits is really what matters most.
Exactly. You got it.
Now, I know everyone's journey to parenthood is different. What advice would you give to listeners who might be feeling overwhelmed or discouraged?
Don't be afraid to reach out for support. Working with healthcare professionals like a reproductive endocrinologist and a registered dietitian can really make a world of difference.
That's great advice.
They could help create a personalized plan that addresses your specific needs and goals.
It's so important to remember that.
Yeah, and it's also crucial to remember that while we've covered a lot of ground today, there's still so much more to learn about the complex relationship between obesity and fertility.
It feels like we've opened a door to a whole new world of information.
Exactly. And as research continues to evolve, we're gaining even deeper insights into these intricate mechanisms at play. For instance, studies are exploring the role of specific genes and how they might interact with environmental factors like diet and lifestyle
Okay.
to influence fertility outcomes in individuals with obesity.
So it's more than just calories in, calories out.
Yes,
There's a genetic component as well.
precisely. We're discovering that certain genes might make some individuals more susceptible to the negative impacts of obesity on fertility.
That's fascinating.
And this knowledge could potentially lead to more personalized interventions and treatments tailored to an individual's unique genetic makeup.
It's like personalized medicine for fertility. What else is on the horizon? What else are researchers looking into?
Well, scientists are also investigating the role of the gut microbiome in fertility.
The gut microbiome, that's all those bacteria in our digestive system, right?
You got it.
What does that have to do with fertility?
It turns out quite a bit.
Okay.
Emerging research suggests that the composition of the gut microbiome can influence things like hormone balance, inflammation levels, and even egg and sperm quality.
Wow.
And we know that obesity can significantly alter the gut microbiome,
Right.
potentially contributing to fertility challenges.
So taking care of our gut health could actually improve our chances of getting pregnant.
That's the exciting possibility that researchers are exploring.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, studies are looking into whether interventions like probiotics or dietary changes aimed at improving gut health could positively impact fertility,
Hmm.
particularly in individuals who are struggling with obesity.
That's incredible. It's like this whole hidden world inside us that's playing a role in our ability to have children.
It's really amazing.
So if we were to sum up everything we've learned today, what are the key takeaways?
Well, first and foremost, understand that even modest weight loss can significantly improve fertility outcomes.
Okay.
It's not about striving for some unrealistic ideal.
Right.
It's about making sustainable changes that support both your physical and reproductive health.
And those changes can be as simple as, swapping processed foods for whole nutrient-rich options, incorporating some regular exercise into your routine, and finding ways to manage your stress.
Absolutely. It's about creating a holistic approach to well-being that nourishes your body from the inside out.
And don't forget about getting support.
Yes?
Working with those healthcare professionals can provide personalized guidance and help you navigate through the complexities of fertility.
Exactly. Remember, you're not alone on this journey, and there are resources available to help you every step of the way.
This has been an incredibly insightful deep dive.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a whole new understanding of how obesity and fertility are connected. What's one final thought-provoking point you'd like to leave our listeners with?
Well, while we focused on the physical aspects of obesity and fertility, it's equally important to acknowledge the emotional and psychological toll that infertility can take. Be kind to yourself, prioritize self-care,
Yes.
and seek support from your loved ones or professionals.
That's so important.
Remember, the journey to parenthood is unique for everyone,
It is.
and there's no shame in seeking help and guidance along the way.
That's a powerful message. It's not just about the physical body, but also about nurturing our mental and emotional well-being, too.
Exactly.
So we've really dug into the science behind how obesity impacts fertility, and it's clear that even small lifestyle changes can have a big impact.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
all about empowering yourself with knowledge and taking those consistent little steps toward a healthier lifestyle.
And remembering that every journey is unique. There's no one-size-fits-all when it comes to fertility.
Right. So what would you say to someone who's just beginning to explore this connection between their weight and their ability to conceive?
I'd say start by talking to your doctor. They can help you figure out your specific situation, run any necessary tests, and connect you with the right resources and support.
Makes sense. It's always a good idea to go for that personalized approach.
Exactly. And don't be shy about asking questions. The more you know about your own body and how things work, the better equipped you'll be to make the best decisions for yourself.
Knowledge is power for sure.
Absolutely. And don't underestimate those lifestyle changes.
Right.
Even little tweaks to your diet and how much you move can have a big effect on your overall health, and that includes your reproductive health.
We've talked a lot about the Mediterranean diet and moderate exercise.
Right.
Are there any other lifestyle factors that we should be paying attention to?
Sleep is a big one that people often overlook.
Yeah.
It's super important for hormone regulation and, just feeling good overall. Aim for 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep each night.
Sleep is so underrated.
It is.
What about stress? I know they can throw things out of whack.
Definitely, chronic stress can mess with your hormone balance and actually impact ovulation.
Yep.
So finding ways to manage that stress, like through yoga or meditation or spending time in nature, can be really beneficial.
It really is about approaching your health from every angle.
It is. It's about building a lifestyle that supports both your physical and emotional well-being to create that foundation for a healthy journey to parenthood.
This deep dive has been so eye-opening. We've covered so much ground, from hormones and inflammation to the impact of diet, exercise, and managing stress.
It's been great sharing this info with you, and I really hope our listeners feel empowered to take control of their fertility journey.
Me too.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this part, what's one last thought you'd like to leave everyone with?
I think it's important to remember that the journey to parenthood is a marathon, not a sprint. You've got to be patient with yourself, celebrate the small wins, and never lose sight of that joy and wonder that comes with creating a new life.
I love that. And remember, everyone listening, you're not alone on this journey. There's support out there for every step of the way. Thanks for joining us on this exploration of obesity and fertility. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep those brains buzzing.
It's so important to remember that while the journey to parenthood can be tough, it's also full of so much hope and the possibility of incredible joy.
Absolutely. And while we've been focusing on the physical and emotional sides of obesity and fertility, there's another important aspect we need to talk about, the societal one.
You're right. There's often a stigma around infertility, and I imagine it can be especially tough for those who are also struggling with weight.
Yeah, people dealing with infertility, regardless of their size, often experience shame guilt or feel like they've failed in some way.
Mhm.
And those feelings can be made worse by societal pressures and misunderstandings about weight and fertility.
It makes sense that those pressures would make an already difficult situation even harder. So, how can we as a society do a better job of supporting those going through infertility, especially those who are also dealing with the complexities of weight?
I think it all starts with education and awareness. We need to break down those harmful stereotypes and understand that infertility is a medical condition. It affects people of all shapes and sizes.
We need to change the conversation from blame to understanding and support.
Exactly. And that means challenging those old-fashioned ideas that weight is always a direct cause of infertility.
Right.
We know there's a link, but it's complicated. It's never as simple as just lose weight and you'll get pregnant.
Right. It's about recognizing that everyone's journey is different and there's no single solution that works for everybody.
Exactly. We need to create a culture where people feel comfortable opening up about their struggles without being judged.
And that includes providing access to resources and healthcare professionals who can offer personalized guidance.
Absolutely. It's about making sure everyone has the information and support they need to navigate their fertility journey, regardless of their weight or background.
Speaking of resources, are there any specific organizations or initiatives you'd recommend for those looking for support and information?
Resolve. The National Infertility Association is a great resource. They have support groups, educational materials, and advocate for those facing infertility.
And what about resources specifically for weight and fertility?
The American Society for Reproductive Medicine, or ASRM, has good resources on their website, including fact sheets for patients and guidelines for healthcare providers.
Having access to reliable information and support networks is so important.
It really is. And remember, you don't have to go through this alone. Talk to your loved ones, find a support group, or connect with a therapist. There's strength in sharing your story and knowing you're not the only one facing these challenges.
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive. We've learned so much about the science behind obesity and fertility, the emotional impact, and how society plays a role.
It's been great discussing all this with you, and I hope our listeners are leaving feeling empowered to take control of their health and well-being.
I hope so too. So as we wrap up our deep dive, what's one final thought you'd like to share with our listeners?
Remember that the journey to parenthood is a testament to your strength and resilience. Embrace the challenges, celebrate the small wins, and never forget the love and hope that drive this incredible experience.
Beautifully said. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into obesity and fertility. We hope this has given you valuable knowledge and that you feel empowered to navigate your own path to parenthood. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep those brains buzzing.